Welcome back once again to this webinar series. We are back on track with the series of OpenNebula webinars. And today, this afternoon to this morning, wherever you are watching this, we are going to talk about VMware alternative for cloud service providers. But basically, let me quick give you an intro of what we are doing right now. This is a part of the webinar series from OpenNebula. We are hosting webinars, conference, events, a partner ecosystem that we launched just recently, if you take a look on our blog. But this is part of the webinar series that we have. For example, next November 13th, we will have the second training session exclusively for people that are looking for knowing what is OpenNebula and how to start using OpenNebula by Alexei Petrov. So take a look on that. It's also registered for free and it's already announced on our page. And on the 20th of November, we have another webinar about how to migrate from VMware to OpenNebula. If you have missed the previous webinars about this, I suggest you to watch it, to obviously register first, and then watch it. And in any case, remind you that we have all these webinars recorded and uploaded on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick intro to OpenNebula, brief intro like the title says, and basically start saying that OpenNebula, it's a open source cloud and edge computing platform that unlocks the power of a multi-platform, multi-cloud platform, combining edge, public, hosted, and private cloud operations. It helps organizations to easily embrace hybrid and edge computing, allowing them to grow their enterprise cloud on demand with infrastructure resources from third-party public cloud and bare metal providers such as AWS and Equinix Metal. OpenNebula provides one uniform environment that allows to manage and perform operations on resources that are on-premise, hosted, or on the edge. With the marketplace that we provide with pre-built appliances and the recent Docker Hub integration, OpenNebula will facilitate the deployment and management of applications that run on any infrastructure from on-premise to the edge. OpenNebula manages any application, combine containers with virtual machine workloads in a common shared environment to offer the best of both worlds: mature virtualization technology and orchestration of application containers. This is basically what I mentioned before, that we run on any application, any infrastructure, or on any cloud. And it's the open source solution that solves the toughest enterprise cloud challenges. Why OpenNebula? Because obviously the power of simplicity, vendor neutral flexibility, cost effective, lightweight, elastic, customizable. So it's very flexible solution for your cloud platform virtualization. And who is using OpenNebula? At this point, we have more than, a lot of clients and users using OpenNebula, from telco, gaming, SaaS, academia, fintech, a lot of different solutions and a lot of different use cases that eventually over in the next couple of webinars, we are planning to show how OpenNebula is used on these cases and by these partners and clients. But without further ado, and because I say only brief introduction and only 5 minutes, I will give space and the stage to my colleague, Jim Freeman, that will talk about what OpenNebula offers for cloud services providers. Jim, welcome to the webinar.
Thanks, Fran. Hi, everyone. So we're going to talk a bit more about some of the features and bits on, but can really help cloud service providers kind of get started with OpenNebula.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you the stage, Jim. See you later.
Sure. To just kind of jump in on this kind of bit of a platform overview to start with. So, what OpenNebula does for the actual like virtualization compute layer really well. We do a lot of integrations with other, like for example, like software as a storage, software-defined storage solutions and bits like that to really expand in everything that you need. So you can see at the top that we integrate tools like Prometheus and Grafana for monitoring, Restic for backup, Open vSwitch in networking, products like LinStore and StorePool in storage. So we have a really good kind of like ecosystem of this that you can use. So typically in most cases you can just bring your existing hardware, your existing environments into OpenNebula and use them that way. So as today's webinar is really around these kind of cloud service providers, whether you're migrating from VMware or just looking to start or something like that, I want to touch on some of these features that are really vital for CSPs here. And I think the first like obvious one is about multi-tenancy, right? So you want to be able to create users and groups and kind of isolate these exactly how you would in a tool like Cloud Director from VMware, for example. You can give so all your users can log in with a single pane of glass, kind of managing resources from different data centers, different zones, or availability zones in other platforms that we refer to them as zones. And I think we do a really good job at kind of creating these isolations. And the second bit of that is RBAC, which is role-based access control. And we have a few different tools here to really help with this. So we have the standard kind of like permissions that you would get in a group that you can set what exactly your users and groups have access to do. And ACLs allow you to go like one step deeper and really define, for example, you could restrict a certain cluster to only a certain group. And kind of combining these users and groups and virtual data centers, it can create these kind of like isolated environments for your customers so they can get that Cloud Director-esque way of managing it. Another really key like feature for CSPs is the ability to give your customers self-service. So they can go in, they can see the resources that they have, and we have these different views in OpenNebula that allow you to set, exactly what your users can and can't see and do. While a lot of cloud platforms out there have the ability to kind of offer this self-service virtual machine deployment, excuse me, OpenNebula goes one step further, and we also do this on the networks as well. So, in a platform like Cloud Director or vCloud Director, users can create their own kind of networks, isolated, rooted networks, etc. And we have a similar functionality through these virtual network templates, where you as an administrator can define the settings, define the IP ranges, define the VLANs, etc. that they would use. But then your users can go in and actually provision these networks themselves. Kind of this all comes with all the standard features like quotas and everything like that to stop someone from going along and deploying hundreds of networks. But there you go. And of course, in the kind of the demo we did in the last webinar, you can see how you do this from a virtual machine point of view as well, where you can create a catalog of templates for your customers, and they can deploy them from there, all without intervention from like an administrator. A really key one as well is about tracking what your customers are doing and using and everything like that. And we have a full kind of like billing and showback system integrated as standard in OpenNebula. You can see the screenshot there that kind of really goes into this is on a group level, so we can see an accounting report on exactly how many VMs a customer is running, their usage, and you can see this in like a tabular format as well, where you can really dive into how many hours it's running, what the cost per hour, and everything like that is. These reports can be exported through as like JSON or XML format for your kind of external billing systems. And we also integrate, or we have plugins with existing third-party billing platforms as well, such as WHMCS, and we're always looking for new integrations there as well. So who use a system that we don't currently support, feel free to reach out to us. You know, we want to create more ourselves, and we have a really kind of well-documented API that you can do all of this as well. So then kind of previous features are really the key ones for what you would need to really create a service provider, or to match the feature sets from existing ones out there. And that's great for the end users, right? But now I want to talk for just a couple of minutes around the functionality that you as a kind of a cloud administrator or architect would need to actually provide this. So, you know, this is not specifically around, you know, user self-service or billing or multi-tenancy, but, you know, the first one here, we have federation of multiple data centers, and OpenNebula allows you to create these additional zones. And, you know, so there's just a single set of login credentials, and then you can access your different data centers, your different clusters, all from this one set of credentials without having to log into multiple different portals. In a similar way to AWS have availability zones, OpenNebula has a really simple drop down that you can just select all the zones that are connected together. You know, the VDCs down here as well. You know, this is a really good way to isolate these resources. You know, it's not the most typical cloud service provider use case, but, you know, you can have your kind of singular OpenNebula instance. And let's say you had a customer who had dedicated hardware, and you were running like a dedicated cloud for them. You can add this to that same OpenNebula instance, and you can restrict it from your other customers and leave it just to this kind of dedicated customer by creating a virtual data center for them and creating this isolation policies. You know, well, I'll come on to the interface in a moment, and anyone who attended our last webinar, you know, this was our kind of big feature for our latest release, which was 6.10, which was our brand new kind of feature parity Sunstone interface that's been worked on for the last couple of years, but now we're really, you know, out there talking about it. You know, we have these provisioning tools called OneProvision that I'll touch on in just a moment. And many other like integrations here. So, you know, to really easily deploy OpenNebula, we have a hook system that allows you to create these customizations, really simple installation and upgrade procedures, and everything like that. You know, in terms of, like, you know, I mentioned this quickly at the start, but, you know, whether you already use a tool like Ceph, or you already have an existing physical SAN that you're running with another provider, you know, you can bring all of these over. OpenNebula support all the standard, you know, technologies to integrate, whether that's NFS or through an LVM, Fiber Channel, iSCSI, etc. You can mix and match these data stores. You can have different storage tiering and everything like that. All are standard, and the same thing with networks. It's not just about the supporting VXLAN or supporting VLANs or Open vSwitch, etc. We have these additional functionalities, you know, through Virtual Router, similar to like an edge gateway in VMware Cloud Director, and security groups that give you that firewall functionality as well. Kind of the last kind of slide on these specific features is around virtual machine management. So, you know, this is both aimed at the end user and you as a cloud admin, where you can take these backups. You know, I mentioned at the start that we have a good integration with Restic, an open source backup platform, and we're really on the hunt right now to integrate with others as well. And we're starting relationships with many other third-party backup vendors. So, you know, you don't have to change vendor just because you use OpenNebula. You'll be able to bring that with you and use everything as you were. And that kind of comes with snapshotting and all the monitoring tools that OpenNebula offers as well. You know, we have this integration with Prometheus and Grafana, so you can, you know, have your metrics in a kind of an external data source. But, you know, we have you know, lots of good like graphs and statistics inside of OpenNebula natively as well to really touch on, you know, so you can see exactly what's going on in your environment. This again is not the most typical kind of use case out there, but it's a really interesting one, and I think that, you know, many service providers probably encounter something like this, but there aren't that many tools out there to really help with this. And this is about expanding, right? So, you know, you have a large customer come on board or something like that, and you need a way to really quickly add resources on, so add hypervisors and storage and network capabilities online. And with like the time it can take to procure hardware and network equipment and everything like that, we built a tool called One Provision. And what this allows you to do is to connect into these kind of cloud and edge providers all around the world. You know, we have these native ones with Equinix Metal and AWS, but you know, we have full guides and information on how to integrate with others as well. And any kind of like Terraform available bare metal provider out there, you know, would work with this. And the real key use case for this is if you do need to expand, you don't want to go and don't have time to wait for hardware, you can spin up a cluster in OpenNebula in really just kind of like 15-20 minutes. You can have a cluster up and running, you know, added there, and then you can start building virtual machines and resources on there straight away. You know, there's a real advantage with these guys as well. They have like per minute or per hour billing, so you don't need to commit to these resources for months and months. But yes, it's a really good way to expand that infrastructure in a quick way, or even perhaps a temporary way. You know, just to kind of see that. It's a really good tool. Recommend having a look. I'll quickly do a slide on our latest release, and we spoke about this in our previous webinar. But our key feature is about this user interface. For anyone who'd used OpenNebula previously, you know, the old Sunstone, you know, it did exactly what it needed to, but you know, it was time for a fresh coat of paint, and we've done a really good job at getting this out there. A real key feature for those migrating from VMware is a new tool we created called OneSwap, and this allows you to migrate virtual machines from VMware to OpenNebula really quickly and easily. You know, through our One Deploy, it's much easier and simple to deploy OpenNebula right now. We have tools such as like Mini1 and V1 Cloud to really quickly kind of test OpenNebula. But through our One Deploy tool, you can use an Ansible script, and it will deploy kind of an end-to-end OpenNebula cloud for you. A real key thing for those using the Community Edition is in previous versions, Prometheus and the Restic backup functionality was behind our Enterprise Edition. And we've added this into the Community Edition so we can get additional feedback and just get more, you know, people using these tools. And we did some good support for GPUs and vGPUs and enhanced some of our kind of standard backup features as well in preparation for us kind of supporting other backup platforms in the future. This kind of like slide here about just trying OpenNebula. So 6.10 Bubble was our latest version. On the website there, on the link, sorry, there, you can get up and running in just a few minutes. You know, we have a tool called Mini1 that it's just a single kind of line of script on a virtual machine after downloading, and you can get started and testing OpenNebula as quickly as possible. Now I'd like to hand over to my colleague Michael to talk about some of the Enterprise Edition functionality features. Fran, can we switch over to Michael, please?
Great. Excellent. Thank you, Jim. Okay. My name is Michael Abdu. I am the account manager at OpenNebula Systems. And I'm going to take, okay. On here is choking. Sorry, hold on one moment. Pablo, you need to get out. Hold on, you got it? All right. Sorry about that. So I was just going to take a quick moment to run through and give you an overview of our enterprise subscription at OpenNebula. Okay. Our subscription is really what we offer our enterprise customers, allowing them to run OpenNebula at the enterprise level, giving them the support and the services that that they need to run in a production environment. Our subscriptions firstly provide access to the Enterprise Edition, which is a more hardened version of OpenNebula. It gives you access to LTS releases, as well as to maintenance releases that we release on a monthly, bi-monthly basis. Okay, our subscriptions also offer access to enterprise support. Okay, whether you need SLAs running at 9 to 5 business hours or 24/7, we have subscription levels that are addressed to meet those needs. Then we offer a slew of professional services. For example, we have a cloud deployment service, one where we work with customers to design, evaluate, and ultimately deploy the cloud for our customers. We have upgrade services, training, consulting, and engineering services. We even have a newly provided service for VMware migration, right, where we will work with customers who are running VMware and work and help them to deploy and migrate using OpenNebula OneSwap tool from their VMware platform to OpenNebula running on top of KVM. Okay. And lastly, we have a knowledge base, which is filled with best practices, step-by-step guides, and use cases that give customers additional resources to use. Okay, the next slide. So one last thing I just wanted to point out is that we at OpenNebula Systems are growing. Okay, in case you may be of interest, I just wanted to draw your attention to our careers page. We have it published at careers.opennebula.io. Okay, and there you can take a look at some of the job postings that we have available. We are always updating this page with new postings and new positions. So I just want to make sure that you if you're interested, take a look and see if anything catches your eye. All right. So that is it today. Are there any questions that you want to bring to either Jim, Fran, or myself? If you want to do so, please do it in the comments section.
No, it looks like we don't have any comment from people. Anyways, let's see. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to add Jim as well, as to finish the webinar. Thanks everyone to attend today. Who attended today. In any case, I will suggest that check the forum for any question you might have, and the webinar section that we have for next upcoming webinars. That's it. It was a short webinar for today, but we'll see you on 13th of November with the training session by Alex, and on the November 20th with the new webinar about migration from VMware. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.